possible for life to exist on other planets? All right, so cross your T's. You may add more when you're talking with your groups, but look around you. Talk with about 3 people next to you and discuss your ideas. Share what you thought. Go.
I know for a fact that there are like people, maybe they don't look like us, but their technologies, they're way more advanced than us, and we're so stupid compared to them.
Okay.
No, really, I know it.
You know it.
I know it.
You know it. So you think that there's other people, maybe they're not people, in another galaxy who are advanced than us. Why do you say advanced? Like, why do you say advanced? Why not behind?
Because I think that, I don't know, stories gotta come from somewhere. Like,
Stories like that, and
you know, like UFOs and all that stuff, they have to come, they visited us without us knowing sometimes.
Apparently, I'm just gonna say, like, the whole entire idea of there being, like, the whole entire idea of Martians, believe it or not, it came from actual 2 sources.
Okay.
One was the book War of the Worlds, I think.
World of Worlds?
Yeah, War of the Worlds.
Okay.
What are the odds that only one planet was made to have an atmosphere with oxygen and a sun close enough to support life and water?
Okay. So the universe is just too vast to only have us as being sustaining life. Okay. What if I told you there isn't any?
Then you'd be wrong, and I wouldn't listen to you, and I would switch classes with you, you know?
Then I think
You're wrong, then.
Now, do you have these questions at the top of your sheet? Actually, right below where you had it written. Let's see. When we read this article, let's keep in mind who created this message. Okay. What concrete evidence is used to support the message or its claim? So you're going to think about these things as you're reading it. Maybe you want to underline, write on side notes. I know there's space in between the lines. How did my personal experience and knowledge of this message, how did it read differently? I think I messed that one. Who might benefit from this message? Who might be harmed? Why is this message being sent? Why are they talking about it? Why is it important? So think of those questions as you're reading through this article. When you read it the first time through, I want you to act as though you believe, okay? Believe that it is true. And then we're going to talk about it. Then I'm going to ask you to read through it again and highlight the things that make you doubt the claim. You understand? So right now I want you to read and then jot down, you have a chart there. And you're going to write down, what about this provides evidence that it is true, that makes you believe that life does exist. Okay, so you can do that now. Help each other.
When they said that they found a microbe out of one of the Earth's lakes, in a poisonous environment, that leads you to believe that if that environment exists on another planet, then something can live there.
Okay.
And
So essay, the intro of the idea, and how it's been discussed over, it's been in contemplation over a long time. A paragraph about why you believe, and what about this article makes you believe, and then another paragraph of what about this article makes you doubt, and then your conclusions, your own feelings, okay? That would be your essay. But maybe we could share some ideas of what about this article makes you doubt that there's life on it. I know that you're so convinced in yourself, but I'm asking you to look at this article, just this article. Don't take everything else that you think of. Look at that article. Kira?
They didn't use any direct quotes from NASA to confirm the claims that were made, and also most of the references that they did make were claims, like, for example,
So you might be writing this stuff down to help you write that part of your essay.
a research paper in the journal Icarus claimed that hydrogen, but it's not found. So it's one of those.
So it's just a claim, it's not.
It's not fact.
It's not
It
presented.
wasn't proven.
Okay.
Or anything. So I try and keep an open mind. So even
Okay.
though I find doubts, there are things that make me believe, but I'm not going to go either way because there really isn't concrete evidence. It's just theory at this point.
I'm not going to criticize it. This is the article I gave them. Period.
And the essay assignment was what specifically?
Use the article for information and support 2 sides of the debate, basically. What is...
Okay, so they were supposed to put both sides in the essay?
Yes.
Okay.
Of them. I mean, they were having such a tough time putting those goggles of doubting on. So, forced to do that. So it was like an assessment type of, for me to know, see what they know through discussion, yes. Of the article, really was specific to the article. They didn't have any other resource whatsoever, it's just specific to the article. How to critically analyze a piece of evidence.
I really like the fact that in the second to last paragraph she talks about how the text contains words may, might, possibility, suggesting. So she's identifying that, you know, there is room. Exactly. But I like how she used those words.
The introduction was very good.
Yeah.
She had a few supporting facts, and she did imply that there's two sides to the story. She said it herself, people believe both sides of this argument. And then her second paragraph, she gives clear supporting evidence. And then her next paragraph is excellent because it gives the other side of the story, because she specifically states her opinion, but she injects some fact there as well.
You can definitely tell that the introduction is showing that there's two sides. Here's one side, here's the other side, and here's my side. I liked that flow of it.
Just in general, getting kids to kind of to understand the counter argument is always the struggle. But I think I like the way that she did it. All right, as belief and doubt. I think that would be a good strategy to use. So I like the idea of organizing it ahead of time as, okay, well, here's all the ones, you know, for belief, here's all the ones for doubt, right? I think kids, you know, they understand those terms better than argument and counter argument.
Right. Cole, do you want to comment?
No, I like that idea, definitely bring it. It kind of introduces the topic, gets them fired up about it, and they want to know more, and it kind of sets up the stage for them wanting to read more stuff about this.
Was our response a surprise to you?
Yeah, because I don't think of myself as a strong writer, so personally, I don't think of myself as a strong writer and organizer. Not that I wrote this article, but I helped them, I presented it the way I wanted it, and I wasn't sure, I kind of questioned myself if that was the best way to approach this.
You can't predict what the final paper is going to look like, but at least the setup seems to be positive. You know, like let's look into this.
It's a sense of wonder. This article, it really is. It sparks.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I noticed was the confidence of the kids. So I just kind of made that connection having had those same students. So I thought that was interesting, and that just puts me back on my voyage of trying to make a more solid foundation for kids to progress.
But then I found myself paying attention to the kids.
Exactly.
You know, and the ones that I have now too, because I mean, it's such different subjects sometimes. So a kid that maybe doesn't talk in my class, seeing, you know, some of them, you know, that are a little shyer in mine, you know, kind of being that forthcoming in your class, it's, you know, you're looking at how the kids behave differently for that teacher than you. And
one of the things that was neat to see is, you know, how much are you talking and how much are the kids talking. You know, I always kind of reflect when I'm teaching. I'm like, wow, I'm doing a lot of the talking. You know, and how much they're listening, but in this kind of thing where it's really inquiry based. You know, you really put it in their courtroom, and they have to take responsibility and ownership over that lesson. You know, and they did. And so you kind of were there prompting and facilitating, but they were doing a lot of the talking, which was really neat to see.
I noticed when I was in there actually watching the video, I felt like I was reflecting on what they were saying, but I felt like I was doing it too much. I felt like I was talking, interpreting their voice more. I was over speaking on top of them, and I didn't like that actually. That's one thing I did notice.
I found that by you clarifying, because they were thinking a lot of things that really might have been a little fuzzy, because it was just coming out of their heads spontaneously. But you were able to anchor maybe a paragraph of what they were saying in a sentence. You know, because you could see, what I thought was interesting, you could see how they were learning, how they were digesting what they believed, what they took from the article, and trying to make sense of it. And it's messy. It's like that first draft of writing.
I'm not sure.
yeah, They also appreciate it because it shows you're listening to them.
Right,
Like, when you can say back to them, you know, maybe in a little bit better way than they said it, but it's like, yeah, she was really listening. She got it.
I thought that you took a very difficult concept and you made it in a way that they can understand.
You started them off by seeing what they thought first. You engaged them in the topic first and then gave them the article to think about, you know, to look at and see if they would be interested.
Well, I noticed quite a few kids were engaged, a couple of kids were, I had last year, so I saw that they were talking a lot. And same way that they were when I was doing it, they were into that type of subject.
I focused on what she did, and I really liked how she had them read the story twice and forced them the first time to view it as if they were a believer, and the second time they had to think of it.
I was watching it, and it looked like a class that I would teach as a reading teacher. You know, a way to basically access a difficult text. And the fact that you didn't talk much, that you pretty much gave them, you didn't give them any answers. You just kind of facilitated this exploration of the text, which, to me, I've never seen that in a science classroom. And I was wondering the whole time, how bizarre is this for you? I mean, is this I don't know what your classroom is normally like. Are you normally just lecturing about the water cycle and they're taking notes and then take a quiz? Is this something, how did this feel for you? Do you feel like, you know, okay, I spent a whole day on a text, now I've got to do double time tomorrow because, you know, otherwise they'll get the question on the water cycle wrong on the Regents exam.
Their interest in astronomy and also that they'll help into that unit. I also could see some of their vocab and what things they knew about the universe, and sometimes in discussions you could hear what they're thinking, what, you know, like especially Anthony Suarez. From this activity I saw that he loves it, like a huge green light. So I could see his interest. Was it content rich? As far as, is it going to mirror the exam at the end of the year? I don't know about that.
Yeah, and that's a question that I don't think any of us know because we don't know how it's all going to come out.
But did it get them interested? I think that they really enjoyed it. They enjoy all of those creative, I don't know, just their thinking. It was very active. It wasn't a passive learning.
To me, that's where I live. And what's interesting is working with teachers in different content areas, it's like, that's what I hear from them is, I don't have time to do this. And I just wondered if that's what you're feeling as well. So it's interesting.
Well, yeah. I'm finding ways that they can find the information themselves, the reading. So.
Oh, that was great.
But sometimes it's not helping them. I'm not sure if they're getting what I want them to get. So it's like I'm leaving them to their devices. I'm
right.
Control.
But just watching them like you did, that's an assessment. I mean, you can see just by things that they say that they're really, you know, getting it. So I thought it was really, really good.